Hi everyone, I'm Brianna and welcome to Roll Initiative. Today I'm going to be talking about roleplay and we're going to be going over a lot of the basics of roleplay and talking about what you can do to start roleplaying or to work on what you already have. So let's get started. So, the first thing that I think everyone should know about roleplay is that you don't have to do an accent or even a voice. There are many different ways to roleplay, and doing a voice or accent is only one of them. There are many different types of roleplay that will fit almost anyone. So, let's have a look at some different ways that you can roleplay. There are so many ways that how you talk can affect what sort of voice you can do. You don't have to do an accent to be able to do a voice. Doing a voice can be as simple as changing one thing about how you're talking. You can raise your voice a little, you can talk like there's an exclamation mark at the end of every sentence, or you could maybe talk like there could be a question mark at the end of every sentence, like you're never quite sure if that makes sense. You could be very hesitant in how you speak, like you're not quite sure whether you should say what you're thinking of or not. Or you could just be quite thoughtful of your words, as though you're very careful with how you speak. Or even if you use extravagant language, all of this will give your character a different feel. And some of it, like using different language, whether that's really fancy words or just really simple words. Just so long as you change what words you use to what you would normally use, then everyone will be able to tell a difference in what you're saying and will know when you're in character. And even if you don't want to speak in first person as your character, then you can still use these things to enhance your roleplay. If you want to describe what your character is doing, then you can use this sort of language still. If you want to use really simple language for, say, a barbarian character, then you can say that your character gets up on boat. Just because you don't want to talk in first person doesn't mean that you don't want to try stuff out and enhance your roleplay. And especially if you want to try talking in first person, but you're not sure if you want to, then I think doing stuff like this can be a really good way to try it out without actually talking in first person. You can add more flavor to how you normally narrate your character and see if that sort of style would work and whether you'd like to do that in first person. If you're not comfortable, or even if you just don't like doing different voices, then another way to really enhance your roleplay is through body language. Whether that's your posture, like sitting up really straight or slouching forward and sort of curling in a bit, or whether it's hand gestures, whether your character talks with a lot of dramatic hand gestures, or whether they rub their hands together, or maybe they constantly run their hand through their hair. Or maybe they're constantly fingering something or fidgeting. Just trying to copy your character's body language can really help the other players to know what your character is like, what they do, and it can be a really good way to get into role playing without actually doing a voice or anything. Sometimes role-playing can be difficult just because you don't know what your character would do in certain situations. And a really good thing that you can do for that is to know what your character's goals are, to very clearly have what they're after, what they want from their life, and what their big goals are. And you'll be able to know what their drive is, what's motivating them to do things. That way, you'll have a much clearer idea of what they're going to do because you know what they want. It can also be difficult if you're around people that you don't know very well. You can be a loud, outspoken person around people that you're comfortable with, but still be really quiet around people that you don't know very well. So if you're having trouble role playing because you're not comfortable around your party, then I'd suggest trying to get to know them better and seeing if you can meet up other than game night so that you can get to know everyone and you might feel more comfortable around them. Or it could just be that you are just a quiet person, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with being a bit of a quieter role player. But if you want to be more involved, then you could see about talking to one of the other people at your table, maybe someone a little louder, and seeing if your characters could get along and they can help bring you into the roleplay. And if you find that you do have a voice for your character, but you find it hard to keep up with, that sometimes you'll just slip back to talking like normal, or that your accent will change and you won't be able to do the voice the same every time, then there's not a ton I can help with, but it's fine. It happens to a lot of really good players and DMs. Everybody does slip in their accents or their voices sometimes, and it just takes practice. Especially if it's your character or an important NPC that you're voicing, then I'd suggest practicing. Maybe even see if you can get the voice before you play your character or before the NPC comes into the story. You'll be able to get a feel for it and see if you think you can keep it up. But there is nothing wrong with having your voice slip every now and then. It just takes practice, and we're all here playing a game to have fun. But there we go, that's the end of this video, and I really hope you enjoyed it and that it was helpful. And if you did, then I would be really grateful if you'd consider giving it a like, or maybe even subscribing to my channel. But as always, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time.